So students, now let's discuss the next topic on book page 85, that is the action of metals and metal oxides on water. It says many metals and metal oxides like metal, combined with oxygen, react with water. To understand these reactions, we need to have an idea about the activity series. Fine, students, underline the activity series, or we call it reactivity series. And you can see a series of metal in a light blue colored here. You can make a arrow downwards, because this shows a progression of a series of metals arranged by their reactivity from highest to lowest. So here reactivity decreases on moving from top to bottom. Fine. Metals along with hydrogen have been arranged according to their activity in this series, and some common metals are given here. First is the action of metals on water. So this is, we are going to discuss that how the action of metals takes place on water. Whenever a metal reacts with water, it does so with a view to displacing hydrogen from water. Fine. So this is your first point. Obviously, only those metals can displace hydrogen from water which are more active than hydrogen, which are more reactive than hydrogen. Fine. Underline the second point. That is higher than hydrogen in the activity series. Fine. So students, you can see here that hydrogen, specifically they have mentioned. So the metals which are written under hydrogen, they are less active or reactive than hydrogen. And above, all other metals are more reactive than hydrogen. So we can also understand that the more active the metal, that is the higher the metal in the activity series, the more vigorous, the more quick is its reaction with water. So this we must know, and you highlight this. We will discuss here the action of all these metals they have mentioned here. And out of this, the last line, students, though tin and lead are higher than hydrogen in the activity series, they do not act on water. So just underline this specific observation here, that these two metals, they are higher than hydrogen in the activity series, but they do not act on water. Fine. So now we are going to discuss action of few metals on water. The first one is action of potassium and sodium on water. So you can number them. First is this, second is the action of calcium on water, third is the action of magnesium on water, and fourth is the action of iron on water. So the first one is potassium and sodium, and it says among the common metals, potassium and sodium are the most active ones. So you must know, so you can underline this also. They are soft and get quickly affected by the moisture and also oxygen of the air, and are therefore preserved in kerosene. Fine, student. So this we must know. Highly reactive these metals are. And then we have taken a small piece of the metal, is cut with a knife, dried by pressing between the folds of a filter paper and dropped into a trough water. So we make the following observations about these two metals. First is sodium. The metal soon changes into a silvery white globule that does not sink but darts around the surface. Fine. So it does not sink. First observation. Second is a hissing sound is constantly heard. This is second observation. And a yellow spark flies intermittently with a pop. This is your third observation. Fine. The resulting solution turns red litmus blue, and so it is alkaline, that is, it is basic. And we conclude that sodium reacts vigorously with water to form sodium hydroxide, underline its product, and it liberates hydrogen. At the same time, the reaction is highly exothermic, and so the metal melts to form a globule. Fine. So students, we must know about the reactivity of the metal here. Then we must know the observation, and third thing is that we must know the reaction also. Fine. So just mark this reaction here. It is clearly showing us the formation of sodium hydroxide and liberation of hydrogen. Fine. The hydrogen burns with a pop, and yellow sparks are produced by small particles of sodium, and sodium imparts a yellow color to a flame. Please underline this observation. Throw some common salt, that is sodium chloride, into the flame of a kitchen stove and watch the color imparted to the flame. It is yellow. Fine. Also, doesn't a sodium vapor lamp have a yellow light? Yes, I mean low pressured sodium lamps only give monochromatic yellow light. So it is yes, fine. And figure 8.8 is showing us that sodium reacts vigorously with cold water. Fine. And then potassium also reacts vigorously and exothermically with water to form potassium hydroxide and liberate hydrogen. Underline these products and you can mark the reaction also. Due to the potassium hydroxide form, the resulting solution is alkaline basic and it turns red litmus blue. These are the two observations. The only difference from the reaction of sodium is that the hydrogen liberated burns with a violet flame. Fine, underline this thing. And potassium imparts the violet color to the flame. Fine, students. So take care of your the reactivity, then the observations and the reactions here. Fine, students. Next is the action of calcium on water. So it says calcium is heavier than water and a piece of the metal sinks in it. Underline this observation. The evaluation of hydrogen starts briskly but slows down soon as the lime produced forms a coating on the metal. Fine. And calcium hydroxide, that is slaked lime, right, that is CaOH2, is much less soluble than sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide and makes the solution turbid. Turbid means a cloudy, a thick liquid, which has a suspended matter in it. The solution is alkaline basic and it turns red litmus blue. Fine, students. We have seen the litmus paper. Fine. So if it is basic, the red litmus, turns blue. And same way you can mark here the observations and the reaction. And third one is the action of magnesium on water. Fine. So magnesium, being less active than calcium, displaces hydrogen from water very slowly at room temperature. However, the reaction is fast with steam. Fine. So we can see here the formation of magnesium oxide. Fine, student. When magnesium powder is mixed with water, the evolution of hydrogen starts slowly and stops soon because the magnesium oxide forms a coating over the metal particle. Okay, but you can verify yourself how fast the reaction with steam is. So there is an activity written and shown also in figure 8.9 and it says that magnesium continues to burn in steam. Please underline this. Now it says that boil some water in a conical flask to replace the air inside with water vapor. Continue boiling and introduce a burning piece of magnesium ribbon into the mouth of the conical flask. Now there are two observations. The ribbon continues to burn in steam or water vapor though the nature of the flame changes. Fine. So in air, magnesium burns with a dazzling white flame. Fine. Underline this, students. In air, it gives a dazzling white flame, but in steam, it gives a smaller orange flame due to the burning of the liberated hydrogen. So we must know the reason that why are we getting an orange flame here? Because of the burning of the liberated hydrogen. Fine. The particles of the magnesium oxide falling into the water makes it alkaline, that is basic, the solution or the mixture turning red litmus blue. So this is also done with the action of magnesium on water. Fine. So mark the reactions and the observations carefully. The next is the action of iron on water. So what happens here? Though iron is above hydrogen in the activity series, it is much less active than magnesium. Fine. Iron displaces hydrogen from water only when steam is passed over the red hot metal. Fine. You can see in figure 8.10 that steam reacts with red hot iron and very clearly they have shown this reaction. And then what happens that we get a black oxide triiron tetroxide Fe3O4, also called ferrosulfuric oxide. Fine. So you can see in this reaction that when Fe is reacting with steam, so we are getting like it is Fe3, so it is triiron, and then it is tetraoxide, so it is O4, so it is black in color and this is also called as ferrosulfuric oxide. This we are getting. Now this tri-iron tetroxide is considered a mixed oxide of iron 2 and iron 3. So just underline this, students, carefully. And this we have done with the action of iron on water. So we have seen that, like what is the action of metals on water, what are the observations, and their reactions are also mentioned. So just mark them carefully and read them also thoroughly. And next we have to study the action of water on metal oxides. Fine. The oxide of the highly active metals. Now which are the highly active metals? We know through this activity series, that is potassium, sodium, and what, calcium, reacts vigorously and exothermically. Exothermically means the heat or the energy is released here, and with water to form the hydroxide of the metals. So you can number them 1 to 3 and you can see the reactions also. And you know that these hydroxides are alkalis. Underline this term, alkalis. Now what are alkalis? You can say that a base that can be dissolved in water, like you can say a substance which produces hydroxide ions, like OH group or ion OH minus when dissolved in water. Fine. However, we move down. As we move down the activity series, the reactivity of the metal oxide with water sharply decreases. So underline this thing, students. For example, you can say that magnesium oxide reacts with water to form magnesium hydroxide to a small extent, and then same way you can check for aluminium, zinc, and iron also to a still smaller extent. Fine, students. So this we have done with the action of water on metal oxides. So go through these topics well and revise your definitions, examples, and observations. Fine, students. Take care.